I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya.
It was very close, and I knew it would be close.
County Commissioner Dave Sullivan wins his re-election bid, but he wasn't a shoo-in. He edged out former Flagler Beach City Commissioner and fellow Republican Kim Carney with just 51% of the vote.
It looks like the early voting and a lot of the mail-in voting went to Kim, and I think the thing that saved it for me was the actual people who came out and voted on Rainy Tuesday that pushed me over the line. And I think a lot of those people are solid Republicans who are happy to vote for me.
County Commissioner Donald O'Brien beat his challenger handily with 68% of the vote, but he faces two no-affiliation party candidates in the general election. The Palm Coast Mayor's race is heading for a runoff in November. Incumbent Mayor Melissa Holland beat her challengers in the five-way race with nearly 32% of the vote. She'll face Alan Lowe, who had the next highest amount of votes. In Palm Coast City Council races, Ed Danko and Pastor Sim Jones will go head-to-head in District 1 in the general election, while in District 3, incumbent Nick Klufus will face Cornelia Manfrey. In the Flagler County School Board races, incumbent Colleen Conklin maintained her seat. Cheryl Massaro edged out incumbent Maria Barbosa, taking home 56% of the vote.
I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. Beating an incumbent's not easy, but I had a great deal of support from the Flagler County residents, as well as a super team that just pulled off the right things. So I am ecstatic.
Jill Woolbright was also elected to the school board. She tells WNZF it was her passion that led her to victory.
It's been my life. Children of Flagler County has been my life since 1989 when I was going to school here, and then doing my internships here, and then 1991 when I was hired. And I get energized by talking about education and talking about children and advocating for children. I've always been a strong voice for children.
More than 60% of ballots cast in Flagler County were done by mail. Another 20% were cast during early voting, while about 18% of the votes were cast on Election Day at a polling place. The Flagler County Commission is coming to the aid of the clerk's office in the wake of the coronavirus pandemic. Karen Johnson has the details.
Although the county doesn't usually fund the clerk of the circuit court and comptroller office, the unusual circumstances of COVID-19 have changed that policy since the CARES Act prevents government entities from receiving funding for lost revenue. Tom Bexley, Flagler County Clerk of the Circuit Court and Comptroller, made his case this week before the County Commission for financial assistance.
Our current level of court activity is providing around 2/3 of the revenue needed to run a normal operation. This effectively takes my total budget, my court budget of $1.8 million down to approximately $1.2.
So the Flagler County Commission Monday night unanimously approved a $250,000 appropriation of the county's reserves to the clerk's office. Bexley adds 90% of the budget is connected to the people, and several weeks ago they had to go through layoffs to keep the department solvent and have also considered reducing the days of being open for the public to cut costs. If the clause in the CARES Act funding changes, the county should be reimbursed for the appropriation. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
A new organization is created to represent the local business community. John Arking reports.
Like a phoenix, the Palm Coast Regional Chamber of Commerce has risen from the ashes of the Flagler County Chamber, which dissolved 3 months ago due to financial struggles exacerbated by the pandemic. The new chamber's new leader is CEO and President Greg Blasé, formerly from the Florida Chamber of Commerce, who says this rebirth is a response to a need from area businesses.
Well, I think when you look back at the history of chambers of commerce throughout the nation, they usually begin because the business community needs to deal with a major crisis. And the Palm Coast Regional Chamber is starting largely in part because of the impact to the business community from COVID-19. That's going to be one of our initial priorities that we try to address with our members and partner with local government agencies to make sure that the business community is represented in the response to the global pandemic.
Blasé says at this point he'll be the only paid staffer, a situation he expects will be the case for the foreseeable future.
The story is simply that we need to run lean to ensure that this organization remains financially feasible. So in the first year, just like any business, it's a dangerous year for a business in terms of fundraising and getting all things off the ground. And so the Chamber of Commerce is no different in that I want to make sure that we have funding in place for future years. So this first year is going to be, me running the show along with our board of directors and, making sure that we remain viable in years 2 and 3.
Blasé says the inaugural board of directors includes John Walsh, the publisher of the Palm Coast Observer, who will serve as chair. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
What is the instant COVID test and what makes it so great?
Flagler County Medical Director Dr. Stephen Bickles says the simple paper strip test would not cost but $1 or $2, and it would not be a swab up your nose. He did say there are 3 advantages to the instant test.
One is the cost, so it could be done on a massive scale. We could do everybody in Flagler County once a week, for instance, and the cost wouldn't be ridiculous. The second thing is it's totally decentralized. So we're not dependent on a machine with access to it, shipping. It's just done in site. It could be done in schools. And thirdly, the results are instantly available.
Bickle said the instant test could be a couple of months away if it could get past the regulatory hurdles. To listen to the interview with Dr. Stephen Bickle and County Health Officer Bob Snyder, download the Flagler radio app and then go to the Free for All Friday podcast. Tomorrow, testing for a contagion. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's morning news. I'm Amy Cherry.